Do not F this up. You paying attention to crypto right now are in the top 1% of crypto opportunity holders. No one is in a better position right now than you to be able to make life-changing gains in the next 2 years if you pay attention and do this right. If you've been missing out recently, don't worry. In this video, I'm going to tell you certain areas that are starting to show very key patterns that we can identify the next moves that are coming. And right now, in the words of Eminem, you've only got one shot to be able to pull this off. Because if you fail to capitalize right now, the markets are going to leave you behind and you're going to be left FOMOing in when it's way too late. So what are we going to do about it? Well, first of all, if you want me to stop dropping rap lyrics, you'll hit that like button and then get into it. Now, guys, jumping across to stock money lizards. You can see once we break that neckline here, on these last 2 times, we've seen a massive raging, dirty bull market. Now, we are now sat in a position where we've just broken that neckline. Now, previous results don't guarantee future results, of course, but you would have to agree, things are looking pretty exciting right now, I think. But if you've been paying attention over the last month or so, you will notice something very key. When like this coin or that coin is pumping, notably on some of the days, a few of the coins within that particular niche or whatever it is will be pumping at the same time. So on the days that you see like Casper having a good day towards the upside, we've also seen the likes of Hello Token and others. And on other times when we're seeing Bitcoin having an aggressive rally, we will see pushes from most of the market, but particularly from coins like Solana. So this is very key to understand. Because if we can see the coins that are in similar patterns, but some of which are lagging behind, then we can identify the ones that are in catch-up mode, because we want to get them before they're there and get them when they're trying to catch up with other coins in their kind of area or remit. Now, as we jump across to the charts, first of all, let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has broken beyond this chart pattern here, okay, where it's been in a rising wedge like this for a while. Is broken towards the upside. It then had a retest yesterday. Now, interestingly, Bitcoin has continued to look strong, even though we've just had a rejection by the SEC again, saying that that ETF news is going to get extended. Now, I tell you all the time on this channel that the news is just sort of a smokescreen to try and like focus us onto different things all the time in order to make moves without anyone really anticipating the next move that comes out. That's really key to understand, and it couldn't be more evident right now when we get some really quite negative news about Bitcoin, at least apparently, that then you just see the price continuing to rally. That means that Bitcoin is going from strength to strength and is incredibly bullish right now. So I would anticipate in the next sort of short term that we will basically move up into this area around $39,000. And potentially from there, we will continue to push somewhere into this region, maybe up to around within this high, which as you can see for Bitcoin would be somewhat of another, 20 to 30%. That might not seem like a lot, but what it means is a huge amount more money flows into the crypto space, because 30% of Bitcoin is a lot of money. Now that's really important, because what we're looking for is lots of money to enter into the space that hasn't really been in the space so far, because that has an ultimately enormous impact on the crypto markets. That means if Bitcoin is able to sort of slowly continue up into this and then maybe has a pullback, money can flow out of Bitcoin into the alts, and we will see an even more aggressive move in the altcoins. So let's have a think about it. If you've not been involved in some of the coins that have been rallying hard recently, then so what? I want you to have a little calm moment. Be happy with the fact that you made 30 to 50%, because last year I offered you 30 to 50% at some point. You probably would have loved it. But right now it feels like you're missing out because everyone else around us appears to be doing really well. But just ask them to tell you about the coins that they've got that aren't doing so well, okay? Because everyone's just sharing their winners, okay? Fair enough. We're all hyped and excited. I get it. But what I want to pay attention to is this. It's very obvious, if you're paying attention to Solana, that Solana has been pumping on similar days to a bunch of other coins. Now, what I want to share with you is this. Solana has been having a very solid and aggressive run, but it's pretty clear if you pay attention to Solana against some other coins, that Solana is basically way ahead in terms of this kind of current run and the sort of chart process that it's been through. Now, what I mean by that is if you have a little zoom out of Solana, we've been in this kind of like sustained downtrend, and then we had that big like break down at the end of last year because of FTX, which meant that Solana got pushed down underwater much more aggressively, and then it popped back up, okay? That's why it's able to move through this whole process much quicker. See, it was in a downtrend, it broke, it retested, and then since that kind of break and retest, it's now basically up 355%. Now what I've done is drawn this blue line on this chart. just to indicate this sort of area around the 15th of July this year. What we saw then on the Filecoin chart was something sort of similar. It sort of had this kind of trickle down towards the downside. It's had a breakout, okay? But unlike Solana, which done 355% out of that particular pattern, Filecoin suddenly only done around 20%. Now, if you were to zoom out a little further, you will see that actually we're in a slightly different pattern where we're much further down the line where we haven't really seen that kind of growth yet in Filecoin. So if I was to look at something like Solana and say I'd been in from around the $8 mark at the start of this year, then maybe I might start to be, if I was thinking about taking profits from a coin that's already up 4 or 5x, then potentially somewhere like Filecoin might be a fairly good option. Filecoin being a decentralized storage space option. Now, something else that Filecoin is kind of important for is recently China, who back since 2021 have banned cryptocurrency, have now opened up a rule that Hong Kong, an area which is under the rule of China, is now able to trade cryptocurrency, and specifically a few different cryptocurrencies. Filecoin is one of them. This is really important because lots of money in China will be getting moved out through Hong Kong and then into the crypto market, and potentially coins like Filecoin could see massive benefit. And if I put these two charts looking something like this, so theoretically, we could see Filecoin in not such a long space of time being able to head up towards previous highs, 138%, maybe even here, 465%, without getting anywhere near the kind of like the top end of its previous bull market. So just towards these sort of highs is what we could potentially anticipate if that Bitcoin price reaches up towards 40 to 50K. And other coins that appear pretty unexciting right now, also worth paying attention to within that kind of like layer 1, layer 2 ecosystem space that's been seeing a good bit of growth recently, is Arbitrum. Arbitrum, you can see, launched earlier on this year, one of the most successful launches pretty much across crypto. Had a very nice retrace from that push up high. It then retraced down around sort of 59 to 60%. Fair enough, early on in kind of like bear market conditions for a launch. And then you can see it's having a little bit of push up here around 25%. Theoretically, I don't think it's unreasonable to anticipate Arbitrum moving towards these kind of highs it saw earlier on this year within a very short space of time, because I still think it's heavily undervalued given what it's kind of achieving in the space. And yes, the token supply and all that doesn't necessarily seem that favorable, but once you get into altcoin season and we see that money kind of coming in through Bitcoin and out of Bitcoin, then we can see other coins that haven't yet experienced that pump to see some really good growth. What else are we seeing? Again, lots of these kind of like layer 1 ecosystem coins are starting to look really strong. Casper's obviously been looking great all year and continues to rally towards the upside. Phantom, however, similar kind of tech behind Phantom that Casper has with that direct acyclic graph. And I get it, guys, don't get upset that I said it's similar to Casper. And I get it. I know lots of people are really precious about that coin. But guys, we're seeing Solana, Casper leading this kind of massive charge towards the upside, which is great. But now we're looking for other coins that could be about to do something similar. Phantom could well see a push back towards those highs, 76%. And then, you know, look at where it is. Basically, this shoulder was the equivalent on the Bitcoin chart. That shoulder from where we're at right now sits up there somewhere around 377%. Now, as we look into Avalanche, I think we will continue to see a little bit of growth there. But actually, Avalanche is closer up, having done something very similar to Solana previously. And actually, I do think it is kind of catching up with Solana very quickly. This is the example I want to show you, because this is what I think we're going to see in terms of accumulation in the likes of Filecoin, Phantom, Arbitrum, and possibly like still a little bit more coming into AVAX. But there's two things you need to be aware of right now. The fact that we're kind of like early in the market, you're in a good opportunity to kind of build wealth and accumulate slowly. We don't need to be doing anything completely crazy. We can get like 2x's, 3x's, maybe even a 5x in the next year or so. You'll be very well positioned come the sort of second stage of the crypto market, when you get those crazy like astronomical growth in terms of funding. There's not that much money in the market right now when you compare it with like the last bull market and you compare it with where we're going to top out at. Now, something else very key to look at, where we can potentially identify some of these trends coming in through, is LunarCrush.com. This is free, guys. I think there is a paid version. But again, this is the free one, so we can just take a little free, cheap look in here, okay? Because I know everyone gets upset if we talk about anything where we actually have to pay a little bit of money to see anything in return. Everything worthwhile should be free. Right, let's go. Okay, what this does is quite cool. What we've done is search cryptocurrency, okay? And then you're going to see some cryptos down the left-hand side. What we can see is very interestingly though, cryptos, but not necessarily in terms of market cap size order. For example, you got Casper sat here in 7th with $2.9 billion market cap, and then you go down to like 9th, you got Dogecoin with $10.9 billion market cap. So how is it ranking them? Well, it is ranking them in terms of how their performance is going in terms of social media and general interaction with that platform. Why is that important? I hear you cry. Well, right now, what's driving a lot of these projects is people kind of who've got a bit of money and stuff are then kind of aping into projects. And what they're doing is they're going and giving them follows on Twitter, they're going and searching them, they're seeing what's trending, and what's trending is then ultimately going to result in more money flowing in. Of course, because it's getting more exposure, more marketing, okay? Free marketing. And this is really cool because you can come down and on the where it says alt rank, which is here, and topic rank, we can see some interesting stuff. Now we can see which ones have been gaining in these particular areas. And if you're invested in coins, they start to drop off a little bit. This might be an idea that maybe we want to start taking some profits. But what we can come down through and find is some slightly smaller market cap coins. And I'm not saying smaller, but under $1 billion is probably reasonably small. And you can find coins like Audi here. Audi, which you can see on the topic rank, is up 456. Suddenly, Audi's becoming interesting. So what do I need to do? Well, I can click on it and I can see some of the top influencers. We've got Andrew Kang and various others in here. And then here you can find out more stories about why it's trending and why people might be interested. And that's definitely a good place to start looking. And if you're not already doing it, guys, Twitter is probably the best place you can be looking to find out more content on crypto. YouTube, to be honest, is a little bit slow to the game. Most of the content that's being delivered on YouTube may be a little bit behind the curve compared with Twitter because it's so much quicker and easier to get Twitter content out. Therefore, people who are making YouTube videos like myself talk about things earlier on Twitter. And if you want to be earlier in the game, then make sure you go across to Twitter. Give me a follow in Twitter and I'll tell you about coins I'm looking at right now, like ICP. ICP, let's go and look at the chart, is looking absolutely phenomenal. And this is what I'm talking about. Look at where it is on this chart compared with where Solana is. Solana had this break above, had a little pullback from there and then pushed out, eventually going like this. Look, ICP sort of getting into this zone where we usually will have some form of a breakout from this green line. ICP is an absolute key one that no one's really talking about on YouTube because it's not really pumping. There's a lot of people on YouTube who are just going to keep telling you every single day about Casper and Render and other coins that are just pumping already towards the upside, because it feeds you confirmation bias and it's a good way for them to get lots of views. But if you're more imaginative and you want to give people useful stuff, then you'll tell people about coins that are yet to pump and sacrifice some of those views. Thank you. And there's a pat on the back for me for being a damn good bloke. Guys, and that's why you should be subscribed, guys, because I'm not just going to give you that information to just keep making you feel nice about the coins that you've bought, because what's important is that you're buying the next coins that are going to pump next, okay? And I know lots of people will be asking this question, so I'll just have a quick look at it right now. When you look at Casper and whatever, we've seen this massive rally going up here like this. You're probably asking, well, how do I get into a coin like this? Fair enough. You see it did this before, right? And then it topped out and then you have this little candle here. The next candle that looks like that indicates that probably you're going to have an indecision in the next move and more than likely a couple of moves down. Now, what you're really looking for is a pullback of some sort before you want to go and get into a particular coin. Like this one on Casper, you can see it pulled back somewhere in the region of 20%. I'd say if you get a good pullback of 20% and you really can't help yourself, then maybe you can FOMO into it. But personally, I wouldn't, given that that kind of massive run has already happened. I do think that Casper's due a massive bull market and has proved me wrong a couple of times already, but eventually it does conform. Like any crypto, no matter how good it sounds or whatever, it will conform and it will have some form of a little pullback. But what happens if it keeps going on towards the upside and you didn't buy in? Well, suck it up, guys. You didn't get in when it was down here all the time. You didn't get in when it pulled back here, so just suck it up. It's another coin, another day. There's not only one coin that's going to be able to run like this in the bull market. But what you don't want to do is get stuck in a trade where it pulls back on you for a while and then does that, right? Because actually, during that period of time where Casper might be going sideways just to have a bit of a cool-off period, there might be other coins that are going up where you can do like a 2x or 3x. And if Casper gets down here, then now you've got 3 times more money to put into Casper at this point than, you know, if you just put money into Casper at the start on a massive pump, or if you put money into Solana, or any other coins that have been rallying really, really hard, you're just going to get stung. Now, people keep asking me where to buy these coins and where to buy that coin, and Coinbase is too expensive, and I live in the US or I live in the UK, and it's really difficult because of KYC and all that. That's why I recommend that you go and use MEXC, link down below in the description. And I recommend you use it, guys, because it is 0% spot maker taker fees, which means it is basically free to trade, okay? That's not like Coinbase where you pay like $10 each. Now, I get it. If you're in the US or some other areas, this website may not load for you because of different rules and regulations in your country. There's a way to get around this, and it's fine. All you need to do is use a NordVPN, link down below in the description. There is a Black Friday deal as well if you go for that link, where you'll get a saving as well as 4 months extra free. This is the cheapest and best deal I've ever offered you for Nord, and this is an exclusive deal with the House of Crypto. So if you want a NordVPN for significantly cheaper than normal, as well as 4 months extra free and 30-day money-back guarantee, then use a NordVPN. A VPN will allow you to access MEXC even if you are a US citizen, even if you're a Chinese citizen living in China. You'll be able to use NordVPN to access MEXC. That means that you can then trade extra cheap. There's various bonuses and other stuff going on here. They're shouting about futures leverage up to 200x. 200x is absolutely insanely big. Do not use 200x leverage unless you just want to go broke tomorrow, or in fact in the next half an hour, because it will destroy you. But personally, I use MEXC for spot trading. Okay, so buying one, selling it into another, because it's basically free. That means I basically made no commissions. They've got like 3,000 to 4,000 coins as well, guys. So anything you can pretty much think of is going to be available on MEXC. If it's not on MEXC, then it's not on any other centralized exchange. Basically what I'm saying. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, hit the like button. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe and all that. And I will see you tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.